Alright, let's stop monkeying around. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Eternal Ranger Reviews. I know it has been a while since the last time I've been doing a review video. It's been roughly about a year. I apologize for that, but thank you for sticking around. Thank you for staying with me. And we are now back at it again. This time, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Normally, I review like SH Figure Arts or Kamen Rider / Super Sentai merchandise and things like that. For the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at Transformers. And we're going to start things off with one of my personal favorites, Optimus Primal. This is the Takara To Masterpiece Beast Wars Optimus Primal from Beast Wars, which was a show back in the 90s. This was actually my first introduction to Transformers as a whole. I did not grow up with the G1 edition of Transformers. This was the very first transforming anything that I ever saw. And let's just jump right into this review. So we're going to start off taking a look here at Optimus Primal in all of his gorilla glory. Now, I think this guy looks fantastic. He has some nice, has some nice silver paint on his chest and on his face right around here. You can get a kind of good look at that right there. I love the detail of the painted on fur texture. I'm not exactly sure how well you guys can see that on the camera, but it comes off very nice. It is all molded plastic. I don't actually believe it's painted because I've had this figure for years and it has not chipped on me at all. Here's what he looks like from the front and here's what he looks like from the back. There are obvious robot legs here on the back. It is very hard to completely hide a robot mode inside of an animal mode, but I think it comes off very well. You're going to always have some type of kibble when it comes to any type of Transformers action figure or transforming toy in general, but I think he looks phenomenal. Now, let's just jump right into some of the articulation you have here. You have some nice ratcheted shoulder joints. The only thing that I don't like is that when you bring his arm back down, this panel right here, the shoulder panel, stays up, so you do have to bring that right back down, but you got that nice clicking ratchet joint. His arms can do a full 360. You have a bend at the elbow here. That's about it for that. You have bicep swivel. You can rotate a whole 360 degrees around. You do have wrist swivel, rotation. It's been a while since I've done a review. I apologize. You have some wrist rotation. You do have opening and closing on his fingers. You have a individual finger on his index finger. The rest of them are all on a single rotation joint right there. You do have slight thigh rotation here. Not a lot. He can kick about that far back. He can kick about that far forward. That's mostly because of the gorilla chest. No ankle rotation, no thigh or knee bend in gorilla mode, but he does have that in robot mode. We'll get to that in a moment. His toes can go down. This heel piece can stay up. They're both on individual hinges, but you do have to hold this piece down in order to get it to stay. As for his head, he is on a ball joint. It's kind of a tight ball joint, but if you pull it up just a little bit, you get more of a full 360 degree rotation there. He can look up that far. Oops, popped it right off. He can look up that far and he can look down, not at all. He cannot look down at all. On his back here, you have some panels right there. Again, that is mostly for transformation. This little butt flap here can extend about that far and go back down. So that is pretty much it for gorilla mode. He doesn't have a lot of range of motion, but what I do like is that you can actually get him into a decent gorilla pose all you have to do is just use that ball joint that his head is on, kind of make him look up as far as you can without popping his head off. Get him about right there. Bring his arms out forward like so. Turn his hands around. What I like to do is extend his fingers so that way he's kind of walking on his knuckles there. And then you have to engage a little bit of the transformation here. You just kind of pop his waist out of that socket right in there. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it on the camera again. And just kind of make his legs go out about that far. And then there you go. You got him in a relatively gorilla-esque position. Let's aim him down a little bit so you can see him in his full gorilla glory. Now, you do have this little peg that pops out here on his back. I have not noticed this has been used for anything. It wasn't accessible for any of his accessories that he came with. I have unfortunately lost pretty much all of his accessories since I've had him for quite a few years now. But I have found out that Takara is in the works of releasing a Masterpiece rat trap, and I'm almost positive that you can use that peg to put rat trap on his back, like he does in the show. If you guys have ever seen Beast Wars, there are occasions when rat trap is riding on his back. Now, as for accessories, let's get him standing back up here. As for accessories, for Gorilla Mode, he did come with two... Oops, let me bring this camera back up here. There we go, so we can get a look at that face. He did come with two extra faces. One was a smiling face. The other one was a kind of angry, growling face. Again, I don't have them anymore. I lost them quite a while ago. But in order, if you ever get your copy of this, I actually picked this up from the Show Z store. I will send a link to them. I'll add a link to them right in the description below this video. So if you guys want to go check them out, feel free. Let them know Eternal Ranger Reviews sent you to them. But again, if you wanted to change out his faces, you would just pull this individual face off. Each of the faces did have two of these little pegs that you would then pop into these pegs right here in order to replace it. Now, one feature that I like, again, I've had this thing for a while. I sadly do not remember exactly what type of batteries, but his robot mode head does have a light up feature, and in order to access the batteries, he has to be in gorilla mode to do so. You just pop his head off here. There is a small screw right in there. You just take that out, pop this little back piece of the ball joint off, and I believe it takes two LR44 batteries. I am not 100%. I will do a I'll do a remix, not a remix, I'm sorry. I will let you guys know in the next review that I do once I remember exactly what kind of batteries he takes. So that way you guys can add the batteries into yourself. That way you're not looking things up. I believe the instructions do say what type of batteries you need. But again, it has been a while. Alright, and as with any Transformers or any type of mode-changing toy, we do have a whole second mode to look at. So let's just jump straight into the transformation, and we will start that now. So, first thing you're going to want to do is extend his arms outward at a 90-degree angle. So it looks like he's kind of trying to, come over and give you a hug. Then you are going to pull out the shoulder joints here. They tab right in. They kind of click in there. You then want to take these panels here on both sides of his back. There's a little notch where you can get your finger in. You want to pull those open. It's going to show off a little bit more of his robot mode back. What I like to do, because it's easier for me, is engage this little butt flap and then pull his whole back outward. And it's going to extend as so. What I do is I take these two cannons and I kind of push them past these tabs right here, just so that way it's a little bit of extra clearance for me. You're then going to take this panel, rotate it completely inward, and then kind of push it down on itself so this lines up, so that way you have his prime jets sticking out. They're going to take the whole back, rotate it 180, and then leave it like that. Don't do anything with it yet. You are then going... Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I'm right. Sorry about that. Skipping a step here. You're then going to take his feet. You're going to go right here in the back, flip out the robot mode feet on both sides. You're then going to push in his gorilla toes while also extending out the heel. So that way it looks just like that. You do that on both sides. Extend it. My copy, they're a little sticky, so it's kind of hard to do that. What I do then after that is I take his thighs, you just pull them forward so they pop out like that. Rotate them around another 180, and then push them right back in. You're going to hear a nice click. Do the same thing on both sides. That way you don't have to worry about this gorilla belly being in your way for the final step. Then going to come around. What I tend to do is I just take the shin part of his leg, kind of bring it upwards while holding his thigh. So it just kind of comes out like that. You're then going to want to take these knee pads right here, rotate them around so that way you have this whole red section sticking out until it can't rotate anymore. Then you're going to bring the entire leg section down from this joint right there until it clicks in. You're then going to take this panel right here from the shin and then just push it upwards and click it in. You do the exact same thing on the other side. So again, just stick out the thigh like that. Rotate this little knee pad around. Bring the whole leg assembly down. And then again, bring this little panel up. And there are his robot mode legs done. You can then, don't want to do that just yet. So now, this is where we're going to get to the belly. We're going to take his gorilla belly, pull the belly part out, and that's going to separate it. You can spread his arms out a little bit, give yourself a little bit more clearance to move things around. You're then going to take the chest part, kind of get your finger up under here until that comes right out just like that on these little red hinges. Pull the belly out. Easiest thing to do from here is then take the gorilla head and bring it backwards into his back until the robot head pops out. You can then take his chest and push it all the way in, like so. You then take his gorilla chest, bring it up here. You have two tabs right up here in the front, and you have two insert slots right there. You're going to push those right in. You can now take his back panel. You're going to want to angle it upwards, kind of cover up that gorilla head. Then you're going to take, again, you have pegs on the inside here, right there. Oh, sorry, right there. And you have a couple of insert tabs on the both sides of these. You just want to click those in until they sit in nice and snug. You then, you can leave this part right here out if you like. You could always flip it back up. That is more show accurate. That is what I personally like to do. Let me bring the camera up just a smidge here, because he does get a little bit taller. You can then take his robot waist, rotate it. Nice ratcheted waist joint. I do love that. You then want to take his arms. You can push the arms back in until you hear that nice click. Now the last thing you want, the second to last thing you want to do is pull out the robot, the gorilla chest. Just this part right here. Pull that out. My copy tends to get a little stuck. Pull it out just like that. Give it a good rotation. Pull it all the way back down. And push it right back in. Make sure everything stays tabbed into place. And then your final step, after doing all that, is just bring the robot mode arms down. You can leave those out. And there you have Optimus Primal in his robot mode. Now, there is a lot more detail in this mode compared to his gorilla mode, so let's just jump right into that. Now, the arms are still exactly the same amount of rotation and everything. They still move 360 degrees. You still have up and down with the bicep. You can still move this with the ratchet joint if you'd like. You don't have to because those are supposed to stay out. But now you can see there's a lot more detail in the underarm. You have that white plastic with the red molded brim around it. Little red dot right there. You still have the bicep bend there. Wrist is still exactly the same. Nothing on the wrist has changed. You now have a lot more detail in the chest panel here. You have more of a metallic silverish paint with some straight silver in there. You got a little bit, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but you have a little bit of red here inside this circle. You have, let me raise the camera up so we can take a look at that robot head. I'll bring it a little bit closer to the camera for you guys. You have a lot more detail in the robot head. Again, these little fins can rotate backwards about that far. They can go forward also about that far. The figure, when I first got it, did also come with two alternate faces for the robot mode. One was a solid whitish silver piece right here for his battle mask. The other one was more of him smiling. Sorry about that. And you have that gunmetal gray paint all in his dome. You have a little bit of silver right here in the front. Again, if you guys have the batteries, if you put the batteries into the ball joint for the robot, the gorilla head, you would get his eyes to light up. They're normally just solid red. And in order to get his eyes to light up, you would just push his head down and that would light the head up. You have full 360-degree rotation of the head. It is also on a ball joint. He can look up about that far, and he can only look down about that far, no further than that. You have a lot more detail in his legs now. You have the red and white knee pads. His knee now actually has a bend. You can activate this bend right there. You can even go a lot further if you engage this hinge there for transformation. He can kick about that far. He can kick also about that far. He has a very good splits. Very good. And they're on, again, these beautiful ratchet joints. I just love that sound. You have more ankle tiltage here. His toes, again, just like before, can bend forward. They can't go all the way down because of the gorilla feet there. They can go up about that far. And what I like is the detail of this piston right here. As you bring the toes down, that piston moves in and out. I really like that little detail. He also did come with a couple of swords. I lost those, which I'm actually okay with losing those because he only ever used them, I believe, in one single episode. You don't really ever see them again. Oh, one other thing I do like to mention, he does have hidden artillery. On his back, you can take these cannons and rotate them all the way around, so that way they're standing at his shoulders. So if you wanted to do some pew-pew, bang, 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 shooting like that, you also have some hidden wrist cannons. They are actually in these panels right here on the top of his arms. In order to activate them, you just need to find something thin to push this little tab upwards. I don't really have any fingernails at the moment, but if you can get it up just a smidge, you can kind of push this part up, and you can kind of finagle your way. Give me just a second here. You can kind of finagle your way into getting those panels to come up all the way. Almost got it. There we go. You can then rotate this piece outwards. It's on both of his arms. You can then take the barrels here and extend them all the way out. So now you have his hidden arm cannons. The barrels can angle. I don't know if it's just on my copy. I don't know if these things are loose, but they can angle down a little bit, and they can angle up just a smidge. Not that much. Again, I don't know if that's just looseness on my copy, but that is something that you want to do it. That's something that you can do if you want to display him that way, and you can just pop it right back down. Let's bring his arms back down here. Now, all in all, I think that this is a very, very good figure. He looks fantastic in both robot mode and in his gorilla mode. I think he looked great in both modes. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. They're not perfect in the slightest, but I think he looks great. I really do. It's one of my favorite Transformers. This is my absolute favorite Transformers series. And I think he would be a great addition to any Transformers collection. I really do. Again, I got my copy from the Show Z store. I will, again, put a link to them right down in the description below. Please feel free to check them out. They have a wide range of Transformers figures, both official released, third-party, and fourth-party figures. I will be taking a look at those as we progress around this Transformers Beast Wars series that I will be doing. I will be releasing at least one video a week, maybe every other week. I'm not entirely sure yet. It all depends on how hectic my life goes. But I'm glad you guys stayed tuned with me. I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourselves. Thank you for checking out my Optimus Primal Transformers review. Stick around to the next video, and I will see you guys the next time I see you. Have a great night. Have a great day, whatever works for you. And above all, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the power protect you. See you later, guys.